Lucy, thank you. Let's bring you more now on George Michael, arrested, of course, on suspicion of possessing Class C drugs after he was found slumped behind the wheel of a car in London on Saturday morning. Look at that. Doesn't that take you back a few years or two? Not that I can remember, of course. I think Mark does. But anyway, there you go. It's not the first time he's been on the wrong side of the law. In 1998, he was arrested over this scene. Do you remember that image there? Made all the newspapers. He was arrested for lewd conduct in a Los Angeles public toilet. He was fined, there you go, £260 and sentenced to 80 hours of community service. The incident prompted him to finally reveal his true sexuality, though it was, of course, one of the worst-kept secrets in the world of showbiz. But soon after, he released the single Outside, which poked fun at the toilet incident. There you go, just one example of his colourful music career, which began, of course, in the 80s when he shot to stardom with Andrew Ridgeley, Wham! Massive success he were, and only about 20 or so when that was taken. But as a solo artist, he's had 11 British #1 singles, not bad, and 6 chart-topping albums, one of the biggest British artists we've seen. Now, he used his success to express his political beliefs. At least he has tried. Shoot the Dog 2002 wasn't a big hit with the government or, of course, with the record buyers. There you go, not popular at all. But after a particularly big falling out with his record label, Sony, he turned his back on the industry. In 2004, he decided to release songs online for free, stating he no longer needed the cash.
Well, let's talk more about the highs and lows of George Michael's life, joined by music journalist David Sinclair. David, thank you for coming in.
Pleasure.
Do you think there are more highs than lows, or lows than highs?
Well, I think the balance has swung in recent years. I mean, as your report just there made clear, he's a huge international superstar, probably one of the biggest stars Britain's ever produced. So you couldn't exactly ever diminish him for those reasons. But he's been in the headlines really for more the wrong reasons in more recent times, and I think that's he's becoming a bit of a troubled soul, I think.
And you say a troubled soul, well documented from himself, that he has got a predilection to Class C drugs, to cannabis particularly. He does take a lot of it, he says that himself.
Yes, he's famously enthusiastic about taking cannabis. He reckons it's the cure for all sorts of problems, ranging from depression to writer's block. And maybe it is for him, I don't know.
But it doesn't seem to have worked, though, as far as the writer's block is concerned, is it, really, in creative terms?
No, he's had a very, very lean period for a very long period of time, and perhaps it has produced diminishing returns.
Yeah, I mean, is it a self-imposed exile, though, that he's really decided to effectively retire? Because, I mean, certainly he's been very vocal about his disenchantment with the music business, the record labels, and the sort of music that's being made today.
Yeah, all of those things. I also think, though, that he seems to have lost his touch. I mean, he probably wouldn't accept that as an explanation, but he's taken longer and longer to produce records since he had his big falling out with Sony in the 90s. His output has been so erratic and so slender, so slim, and it hasn't really been all that successful. I mean, the last couple of albums he's put out have been big albums, but he's been eclipsed by people like Robbie Williams and a lot of other much more younger, energetic stars now. He looks a little bit dated, I think.
He finds the whole fame game as well quite difficult to deal with, doesn't he?
Well, he does, but he's got a certain talent for being in the spotlight, hasn't he? And he always finds himself there. And what he does is, when he finds himself in these difficult positions, he tends to take attack as his main form of defence. So when he had that problem with the being discovered soliciting in a lavatory in Los Angeles, he was
Suddenly it becomes a pop video.
He turned it into a whole PR stunt, and with the help of Michael Parkinson and various other people, he sort of, by the time he'd finished talking about it, we didn't want to hear anymore, really.
No, and perhaps one has to say, I mean, he's not actually actively sought publicity, has he, recently? It's not as if he's at every function and every sort of nightclub opening and red carpet for the films and so on.
No, he's become quite reclusive, I think, in recent times, and so it's quite mildly surprising to find him in this situation. I mean, it's obviously very embarrassing for him, and it's obviously a...
Is it?
Well, I think it is a
Rockstar
bit.
allegedly takes pot. I mean, I would have thought that was...
It doesn't look so great, does it?
Part of the CV that you needed, really.
Slumped over his car wheel. He's a 42-year-old man, slumped over his car wheel in the middle of Hyde Park in the middle of the night.
So falling asleep is the real crime. Yeah. The age
David,
catches up with him.
We're going to have to leave it there. David Sinclair, great to speak to you.
Pleasure.
And we'll await to see what happens with George Michael in that arrest case.